Coach, can you take us through maybe the progress your special teams units have made from the beginning of the season?
Yeah, as a whole, we're trying to get better every single week. Trying to be able to impact the game both for field position and explosive plays. Certainly, we've had some ups and downs week to week in different areas and categories, but certainly as a whole, I think the guys are really bought in. They've given great effort. We played pretty consistently throughout most of the phases, and certainly gotten better in a lot of different areas, and that some of that has shown.
How difficult was it losing a guy like Bo Bauer?
Yeah, I was asked that upstairs too. It's very difficult. So, Bo Bauer is a special teams captain. He really took on this year, that role of being the leader on special teams. He was a warrior. He was kind of banged up, had multiple different injuries, had a shoulder, some different things that maybe limited his playing time on defense. And he kind of took a selfless sacrifice to say, I know maybe I'm not playing as much on defense, or maybe I'm banged up, and I'm going to play every rep on special teams and be the leader and be the communicator. And it's really invaluable, And trying to replace him is not easy. Certainly, we can't just replace him with one person. We just try to replace him with somebody else experienced in each different unit. But you can see on film, he's the lead communicator. He's the guy getting everybody corrected and lined up, and really took on that special teams role. And somebody that I'll always pull back on as an example of a leader that really loves special teams and really sacrificed for the team in doing that.
How often have you had a guy that was almost putting special teams before his natural position?
Somebody that's talented enough or played a lot on offense or defense, that's pretty rare. Sometimes that's, hey, this is the one way I'm getting on the field kind of a person, but somebody like Bo Bauer to do it the way he did is pretty rare and special. And then even last week, he was trying to coach up people at the different positions he played in, and he said, hey, we're going to get a pump block this week. I'm going to help PK get a pump block this week, and somehow he helped Prince College get a pump block. We all appreciate that. So
that's kind of my next question, just about getting those block punts and Prince College stepping in. How do you continue to move on from that and advance in that area?
Yeah, sure. I think that's something we've gotten better at every week. I think that coulda, woulda, shoulda. There's one or two almost every game that we've been close to getting to, and it's not easy to block punts. We're looking to affect the punter, make him get rid of the ball as fast as possible to either affect their punt or get more return yards. We need to be more aggressive in the return game to get some more of those return yards and return opportunities. In some games, we've been better at that than others. And we've had a lot of guys that have been closer, and it's kind of, hey, there's every millisecond, every inch matters, and you got to kind of find and put the guys that you think can finish and make those plays in the right place at the right time. And Bo and Pete and Prince Colley have been able to do that. There's been a lot of other guys that have been close, and we just continue to try to find the ways to get those guys in the position to make that play.
And how important is that for the offense when at times when they may be struggling to get good field position late in the game?
Anything obviously we can do on special teams to impact field position and create explosive plays to change the momentum of the game and change the game is certainly our chief goal. And when one area maybe is struggling, I know Coach Freeman has said that, the other area's got to pick it up. So if offense or defense is struggling, that's certainly a time where we in special teams want to make sure we can try to impact the game and make a play. You can't force it. You just got to do your job and trust that we're going to be able to execute at a high level to make something happen.
Brian, what goals do you have for special teams going into the UNLV game? What goals do you have?
You're saying in every game?
Well, maybe going into the UNLV game, but what is the goal for special teams?
So we have different keys every single week that are based on each opponent. As a whole, though, we have two key goals every single week that we're trying to get. Number one is we want to win the battle of field position. We want to dominate our average starting field position by plus 10 yards. Certainly that goes beyond just special teams. You have to play complementary offense, defense, and special teams to impact field position, but the punt and punt block areas are ways that you can really flip the field and impact field position. So we want to categorize and objectively view that we dominated field position in the game and did so through the punt battle. And we want to generate explosive plays. So we want to be +2 in explosive plays over our opponent. So limit their explosive plays, generate more explosive plays. In the Stanford game, we were +3 as an example. So those are the two areas that we always want to be efficient in. This week, really a key for us is play disciplined football. No critical errors, no mental errors, no penalties. We've done a pretty good job of some of that, but we want our guys, on a very high level to be able to execute and do their job. So if we all do our jobs at the same time, I think we can be successful.
And what characteristic are you looking at in a special teams player? What characteristics are you looking for?
We're looking for guys that, I don't know if there's one characteristic. The number one characteristic, we're looking for guys that have an unbelievable sense of urgency and play with relentless effort. We're just looking for guys that fit into our culture. You know, it's different in each unit, but we're looking for guys that have great effort, that are willing to sacrifice and give everything they can for one play on special teams, even though they might be here for offense or defense.
On the outside, it looked like Jordan Botello had a solid day on kickoff coverage. I guess what makes him valuable in that unit?
Yeah, he had an excellent day in kickoff coverage. He was the fastest guy down the field. He made both tackles on both of their returns. Had a really, really good game. He's just somebody that's really physical, plays really hard, and has just kept getting better and better. So he had a great game, and just kind of his natural instincts and defensive ability really helped there.
And then Sox kind of hovered around that 45, 46 yards per punt all year. What's, I guess, the balance between distance but also not out-kicking the coverage?
For sure, there's a definite balance there. Obviously, in the BYU game, we had some coverage issues and we outkicked our coverage, which made it a little bit more difficult on the coverage. So we always want to, our goal is to have a 45-yard punt. And if we're going to miss, hit, or outkick, it's got to be that 45 to 50-yard range. Sometimes when you get in that above 50-yard range is where you can get into trouble with giving up return yards and things. So certainly we don't want to outkick our coverage and put ourselves in that kind of a situation.
Anything else for Coach Mason?
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.